Union workers at John Deere are on the picket lines for a second day after walking off the job due to failed contract negotiations. The strike began at 12 a.m. Thursday morning after Deere and the United Auto Workers Union failed to agree to a new contract. And in a statement yesterday, Deere said it did not have a timeline on when negotiations would be finalized. This strike doesn't just impact workers in the company. It also has the potential to impact farmers, dealerships, and shareholders. Local 5's Ryan Scott breaks down the potential impact for us tonight. Ryan.
Samantha, we'll start with a look at Deere & Company's stock performance using financial data provided by NASDAQ. Now take a look. After the closing bell tonight, the stock is up 0.9%, ending lower than last week. Now here's a look at the previous 5 days. You can see the stock dropped 3% from last Friday to Monday. The week 0.05% higher though than Friday. That's where we ended. Now when we zoom out and look at this year to date, Deere is doing better than the Dow, NASDAQ, and the S&P 500. Now take a look. Deere has increased over the last year by 24% since January. The next closest index is the S&P 500 at 21%. Now, Local 5 spoke to a financial advisor to put this all into context for those of you who own Deere stock. He says it's too early to tell if this strike will have an impact on your portfolio.
John Deere stock has had a huge run this year. It really depends. I mean, with strikes, hopefully they get finalized, with agreements sooner than later. Because if it is prolonged, then yeah, it could hurt the stock, but it's too early to tell at this point in time.
McCarty recommends checking in with a financial advisor if you do have concerns and says this is one reason why it's crucial to have a diversified portfolio. Now, when it comes to how long the strike could last, economic experts suggest under the current conditions, a strong farm economy and strong demand for their products, the strike may not last long.
They want to be building more, not less, right? So if it were the opposite, if they were laying people off and you had a strike, there's no particular incentive for John Deere to want to settle. If they're not producing anything, why pay labor costs?
Yeah, if we didn't have to worry about negotiating.
He also says the risk to dealerships selling John Deere products is low right now, but that depends on how long the strike lasts. Local 5 reached out to tractor equipment suppliers in Iowa, and most chose not to comment. The one that did, Allstate's Ag Parts in DeSoto, says as a used parts dealership, they could stand to gain if there is a shortage. In the studio, Ryan Scott, Local 5 News, we are Iowa.
Thank you, Ryan. Kids on the front lines of the John Deere strike, twins like Kinnick and Maddox Rayner. Their grandmother, Missy, works at John Deere in Ottumwa. Brothers Bryson and Benson Pilcher joining their families at the strike today, too. John Deere is a big employer for their family, with aunts and uncles and a grandmother working at the factory.